Hello everyone and welcome to episode 4 of the Skyrim Massive Modding Manual, or we are actually going to download something that I initially thought we weren't. So I want you to head to the Skyrim Special Edition Nexus and download the Skyrim Flora Overhaul. Link is at the top of the provided links in the video description. And we're gonna install that. The reason why I wasn't initially is because we're going to be replacing the Skyrim Flora Overhaul trees with Skyrim 3D trees and the grass with verdant anyways. However, it's come to my attention that, and I wondered about this actually, so I'm glad I checked, that there are actually 333 files that Skyrim Flora Overhaul changes for the better that aren't replaced by Skyrim 3D trees or verdant, that are not conflicting, that we do want to be in the game. So go ahead and download that through Mod Manager and then come back when it's done. Pause the video if you like, come back when it's done. Okay, is it done? Let's install that. So Skyrim Flora Overhaul, we're going to actually install it and we're going to drag it above the Great Forest of Whiterun Hold in our install order and then renumber these accordingly. Okay, so once the files have extracted and it has appeared over here in your mods list, drag it above the Great Forest of Whiterun Hold and go ahead and tick it. And we're going to change the numbers on these things though. We're going to change this to 24. As you'll see over here, our priority is 24 because we are currently sorting by priority. So basically you're just going to retitle these as they appear on the priority column. So this one's going to be 25. And you're just basically adding one to all of these. It's very simple. I'm just going to make the Great Forest of Whiterun Hold patches 26. And Skyrim 3D trees is going to become 27 and so on. Okay, so now if you've done that correctly, your Skyrim Flora Overhaul should be 24, Great Forest should be 25, Great Forest Patches should be 26, Skyrim 3D Trees 27, Verdant 28, and Verdant Patches 29. And obviously we have not given Realistic Water 2 a numerical value in the title yet. So, because we're going to change all that. Now, another very, very important thing. If you've got Skyrim Flora Overhaul and Verdant both installed, which we now do, you absolutely must change your Skyrim Flora Overhaul INI, that's the settings or configuration text file, basically, to reflect exactly what your Verdant INI says. And we have changed the Verdant INI. So you have to basically make your Skyrim Flora Overhaul INI reflect exactly that which is in your Verdant INI. So you'll see here we've got grass, max grass types per texture 15, and min grass size 50. You want to go, and that's in Verdant, you want to go into Skyrim Flora Overhaul's INI by double clicking on the mod, scrolling over to File Tree. Let's widen this up so you can see the name. Go to Skyrim Flora Overhaul INI, right click, open. Max grass types per texture is going to become 15, and min grass size is going to become 50. We want this to be exactly the same as what is in the Verdant INI. Now again, like I said in the last video, if you have some huge FPS drops at 50, just bump this up maybe 10 or 20 at a time until you reach sort of a level of frame rate that's comfortable for you if you experience huge drops in your frame rate. And just close this now. Or actually, no, I'm sorry. Save. File, save, and then close. Just open it up one more time and make sure that those settings have saved. Max grass types per texture should be 15. Min grass size should be 50. Now one more time, just to make sure, go into Verdant and open up your Verdant INI, which is actually a really long title. Verdant A Skyrim Grass Plugin SSE version INI. Right click, open. Max grass types per texture 15, min grass size 50. Perfect. Well done. Now close out of that. Now I've restarted the entire modding process for you guys so that I can walk you guys through it as I go. But in my last load setup, my last mod setup, the one that you guys have seen in my latest Skyrim graphics video, I actually was running Skyrim Flora Overhaul with Skyrim 3D trees and Verdant. And this is actually better anyways, because if you guys decide that you prefer Skyrim Flora Overhaul's trees to Skyrim 3D trees, which I don't really, but I think Skyrim 3D trees is newer, and some of the snow-covered trees still need some work and look a little iffy, but they still look pretty good, and they're fully 3D. In my opinion, the Skyrim 3D trees mostly look better than the Skyrim Flora Overhaul trees, and so we will have them overriding what's in Skyrim Flora Overhaul. But with Skyrim Flora Overhaul installed, if you guys decide that you don't agree with me and you don't like the Skyrim 3D trees, all you have to do is untick this, and it will give precedence to Skyrim Flora Overhaul's trees, which are currently being overwritten. So that makes things easy for you guys anyways. I just didn't realize that there are so many things in Skyrim Flora Overhaul that aren't covered by Skyrim 3D trees and Verdant, so that it is actually useful to have all three installed, if you have them in the right order, or an order that suits whatever look you're going for. At any rate, moving on. Okay, next up we've got a Midianborn Caves and Mines, and if you recall, that's an Oldrim mod, so we had to download the archive. So just click on the archive installation button up there and find wherever you downloaded that to. A Midianborn Caves and Mines 2K, open. And let's just title this 30, because obviously Realistic Water 2 is not going to end up being 30. So we're just going to continue on with our numbering from Verdant, which was 29. Hit OK. Now, tick the checkbox, and this is an Oldrim mod, but it does not contain an ESP, so we won't need to change it in the creation kit. Now, some mods that we are going to install that are Oldrim mods have been converted by mod authors or modders to work with Skyrim Special Edition, but have only been changed through Xedit, and are therefore still using the old Skyrim format, and we'll need to actually run them through the creation kit to change that to the new Special Edition. And now there aren't going to be too many that are like that, but just a handful, and I'm going to show you how to do that in just a moment with Real Roads. But as you'll see if you double click on Midianborn Caves and Mines 2K, there is no ESP file, it's only textures, so you don't need to run anything through the creation kit on this one. Next up, Real Roads of Skyrim. That was another one that's an Oldrim mod for which we downloaded an archive file, so it's not going to be over here in your downloads, you're going to go over here, install new mod from archive. Now, this one is actually just called REA, R-E-A. So I got to a point in my last modding session where I had a bunch of files in the downloads and I was looking for Real Roads and I couldn't find it, and I kept seeing this REA and I was like, what is REA? Anyways, so this is Real Roads. So just a heads up, if you've downloaded everything I've told you to download, you have two other Real Roads files. So just don't get confused. We'll be installing those in a minute and I'll show you what to do. But for now, just look for the one that just says REA and click that and open it. And obviously you're going to need to change the title on this because it just says REA, and even in the drop down, all you've got is REA 55518. So we're going to change the title of this to 31 Real Roads and select OK. Okay, now click the button to open an archive again, and this time select Real Roads for Skyrim Dawnguard and Dragonborn and select Open. Let's name this one. Actually, you don't have to name this one anything, and I'll show you why in a moment. Okay, go ahead and tick this off. Now, open another archive, and this time select the Real Roads Mesh Fix, SSE, and select Open. And this one, we're going to title 32, as if we're skipping Real Roads for Skyrim, Dawnguard, and Dragonborn, and I'll show you why in a moment. So hit OK. And tick that off. Now what you're going to do is you're going to double click on the Real Roads for Skyrim, Dawnguard, and Dragonborn. And you're going to go into the file tree and take the Real Roads ESP and just left click, drag, and drop it into your Real Roads mod, replacing the realroads.esp file that is contained within Real Roads. Now close this, and you don't need this anymore. In fact, just remove it. Now you should have Real Roads and Real Roads Mesh Fix, and the Real Roads that is at 31 should have been replaced by the realroads.esp that was contained within the Real Roads Dragonborn and Dawnguard file that we installed. Once you've done that correctly, we're going to convert the Real Roads ESP to the new file form of Special Edition by opening the Real Roads ESP in the Creation Kit. Now, if you've done this correctly, as instructed in the previous videos, you should have the Creation Kit in your Mod Organizer executable drop-down menu. If not, you're going to have to go into Edit and go and find that Creation Kit executable and add it to the binary and title it Creation Kit and start in the Skyrim Special Edition folder where the executable is located. But I'm assuming you guys have been following along and that you have the Creation Kit in here. Now, if you go to plugins, you should see Real Roads right there at the bottom, the new ESP that we've added. So go down to Creation Kit in the executable dropdown and select Run. Sometimes it takes a while to load. That's okay. It doesn't mean anything is going wrong. Now go to File, Data, find the realroads.esp in the left-hand pane under Plugin/Master Files. Once you've found it, double-click the checkbox until you see a little X over it to select it, and then click Set as Active File. Now, before you move on, notice to the right, the parent masters for realroads.esp are skyrim.esm and update.esm, so you must also select those as well. Once you've done that, click OK. Now, the Creation Kit is going to give you a bunch of warnings like this. These are just problems with the Skyrim ESM and update ESM that have nothing to do with your mod. And if you do some Google searching on it, everyone has these errors, and you can either click no to basically say, no, I changed my mind. I don't want to edit this file. Get me out of here. And it will close the Creation Kit and change nothing. Or you can hit yes to ignore the warnings. We are going to actually hit yes to all and ignore all of the warnings, because if you just hit yes, you'll get another warning in a moment. So just hit yes to all. Now, in my case, I get more warnings about books having invalid characters. I don't know if you guys will get that or not, or if that's just something with me, but this is not anything to do with our mod. Again, this is something to do with the Skyrim ESM and update ESMs. There are no book files in our mod, in our roads mod. So this is nothing to do with a problem with our mod. I don't know if you'll get this or not. Either way, if you do, just click yes to ignore all warnings, yes to all. And then it will open up a big warnings window and show you all of the warnings. And you'll see that my books, my QA books, have invalid characters, like they're written in Chinese or something. I don't know what the deal is with that. And you guys might get that. You might not. But we're going to ignore it. And the wonderful thing about using Mod Organizer and running Creation Kit through Mod Organizer is that you're safe to do this, because if you accidentally change something in your Skyrim update ESM or something that you didn't want to change rather than just your mod, whatever you change here will automatically go into the Mod Organizer overwrite folder. So you can easily revert back to a prior file if you mess anything up. At any rate, just ignore all the warnings. It should say Creation Kit realroads.esp, noting that that is the active file that we're changing. All you're going to do, you don't even need to change anything. We're just resaving it to the new form format for Special Edition. So all you do is click File, Save, Saving Done. Now you just click File, Exit, or you can just click the little, check the little exit X at the top right. Sometimes the Creation Kit will lag a little and take a second to close. Don't worry about it. It just does that. So now you should see in your overwrite folder, you have a new realroads.esp. And this is our altered realroads.esp with the new form format of Skyrim Special Edition. So we've essentially just taken an Oldrim ESP and resaved it with the new form format for Skyrim Special Edition, and we're going to need to do that with a handful of other mods as well. So it is good that you guys learn how to do this now. And all we're going to do, oh, I should mention, if you see anything else in here, if you see anything in here other than your Real Roads ESP, like if you see update ESM or you've altered anything else, then you've probably done something wrong. The only thing that should have changed is realroads.esp. Now, all we're going to do is you should be in the overwrite window looking at the new Real Roads ESP we've created. All we're going to do is drag this and drop it into the Real Roads mod. And now our overwrite folder is empty and clear, and the Real Roads folder is going to have our new Real Roads ESP that we've just created. And you should see the date and time modified being the exact time that we just altered this file in the creation kit. So we are done with Real Roads, and you have successfully converted it from Oldrim to Newrim. Congratulations. Now, there are a couple of final steps when converting an Oldrim ESP to the new form format, and that is we need to load up Real Roads or any mod that you convert from the old form format to Skyrim Special Edition. Load it up after you've altered it in the creation kit. We need to load it into SSE Edit. So select SSE Edit from the dropdown and click Run. Right click in the window and select None, and then just tick realroads.esp and select OK. When it says Background Loader Finished, go up to Real Roads, right click, and select Check for Errors. Checking for errors in realroads.esp. All done. You should see all done. Hopefully you won't have any errors. If you do, we'll need to sort that out before we move on. But you shouldn't if you've followed the steps exactly as I have. Now right click Real Roads and select Sort Masters. And finally, right-click Real Roads, select Apply Filter for Cleaning. Once the filtering has completed and at the bottom you see filtering done and the amount of process records, etc., right-click Real Roads and select Remove Identical to Master Records. Yes, I'm absolutely sure. When that is done, right-click Real Roads and select Undelete and Disable References. We are basically just cleaning our new Real Roads ESP the same as we cleaned our official DLC earlier in this modding series. Now in our case, we've got 0 records that needed to be undeleted and 0 identical to master records to remove. But you will want to do that with any mod that you convert from Oldrim to Newrim. So let's close out of SSE Edit now. And you'll notice nothing popped up to save because no changes were actually made, because no changes were necessary. If you close out of SSE and a change has been made, it'll pop up with a little window asking you to save the mod to which changes have been applied. If there are no changes made, it'll just close out and no window will pop up afterward. All right, now you are officially completely done converting this from Oldrim to the new form format. So, moving on. Now we're going to install Skyland, and this was not an archive download. This should be in Mod Organizer 2 over here in your Downloads tab. So find Skyland. If you've got a bunch of clutter in here, you might want to right click and select Remove Installed just to clear things up a bit. Now double click Skyland, and we're going to call this 33 space Skyland. Once Skyland has completed extracting all of its files, which will take a moment, it's a rather large file, go ahead and tick the checkbox to select it and install it. But now we're going to have to do something fairly tedious that you guys are probably not going to enjoy. You're going to double click Skyland and go into the file tree, and we are going to have to hide several specific texture files. So first, click the little arrow next to textures to drop down the subcategories and go into landscape, and then go into mountains and open that up. Now click the top mountains lab 01.dds texture file, then hold shift and click the bottom mountains lab 02 mask.dds so that all of the files within the mountains subfolder have been selected. There should be 6. Right click and select hide. Now while we're here in the landscape subfolders, drop down the roads folder And just after road 01, there is a file called road 01 fall forest 01. You're going to select that. Then shift click road 01 reach 01.dds. So there should be 3 files here selected. Now, if you get a 4th file, a road 01 reach 01 underscore in.dds, select that as well. You shouldn't have, but if you do, select that as well, making it 4 total files here in roads. So again, from road 01 fall forest 01 to road 01 reach 01, those should all be selected under the roads folder. Right click, hide. Now, Mod Organizer makes it easy to unhide these folders, so don't freak out, don't worry. If you feel like I'm going too fast or this is too complicated, just take a breath. It's all going to be okay, I promise you. Now, close up the Roads folder and the Mountains folder, and under Landscape, scroll down until you see Fall Forest Dirt 01.dds. It should be just under Dirt Snowpath 01 underscore in DDS. So if it's all alphabetical, so just look directly under Dirt Snowpath and you should see Fall Forest Dirt 01.dds. Now scroll down and shift click to select all of the Fall Forest titled textures. So stopping just short of Field Dirt Grass. So everything that says Fall Forest in between Dirt Snowpath and Field Dirt Grass, you're going to select. So you should have 8 files here selected, from Fall Forest Dirt 01 to Fall Forest Rocks 01 underscore in. And you're going to just right click those and select hide. Now skip 2 files, those being Field Dirt Grass 01 and Field Dirt Grass 01 underscore in, and select the next 2 files, Fieldgrass 01 DDS and Fieldgrass 01 underscore in DDS. Right click and select hide. Now scroll all the way down past the Pine Forest files, and again, these are all alphabetical, and select Reach Dirt 01 and Reach Dirt 01 in .dds. Right click and select hide. Now, again, skip 2 files, skip Reach Grass 01 and Reach Grass 01 in, and select Reach Moss 01 and Reach Moss 01 underscore in. Right click, select hide. Now scroll down past River Mud until you see Rocks 01 and select the next 4 files from Rocks 01 to Rocks Edge Trim 01. So you should have Rocks 01 and 01 in, and Rocks Edge Trim 01 and 01 in. Right click, select hide. Now scroll through the snow files until you see Snow Rocks 01 and Snow Rocks 01 underscore in DDS. Right click, select hide. Now scroll down past all of the tundra things until you see Volcanic Tundra Dirt 01 and select 01 and 01 underscore in of the Volcanic Tundra Dirt. So you should have 2 files, Volcanic Tundra Dirt 01 and Volcanic Tundra Dirt 01 underscore in. Right click, select hide. Now scroll all the way down till you see Volcanic Tundra Mineral 01 and Volcanic Tundra Mineral 01 underscore in. Select both, right click, select hide. Now that you've done all this, and if you need to go back in this video and watch again or pause, I understand. But once you've done that, hit close. And I realize that was fairly tedious, guys, but we are going to have to do that 2 more times in this video. So I hope you enjoyed it somewhat. Next, we're going to install Nordic Snow. So Nordic Snow should be in our Downloads tab of Mod Organizer, but it should be titled 3.4.1. If you hover over it though, you'll see that it says Nordic Snow. Double click that. Let's retitle this 34 space Nordic Snow and hit OK. Now once that has extracted, click the checkbox to install, double click, go over to File Tree. So this one's not going to be nearly as bad, guys. You're only going to be hiding one file in this, and it's going to be in Textures, Landscape, and it's going to be snowrocks01.dds. Right click that file and hide. Now close. Now we're going to install Vivid Landscapes. Now you should have two files that start with Vivid Landscapes in Mod Organizer's Download tab. We're going to hover over and find the one that says Vivid Landscapes All-in-One Special Edition. One of them, when you hover over it, will say Correction for the Missing Snow on LOD Objects. We want to install that after we install the original Vivid Landscapes, so make sure you have that one selected and double click. And we're just going to rename this one 35 and hit OK. Now tick the checkbox to activate it, and you're not going to like me for this one, guys. We have a lot of files to hide in this one. So go into the file tree, but I'm pretty sure this is the last time we'll have to do that this episode. So just follow along with me, take your time, and let's do it right. So go into Textures, Architecture, Farmhouse. Let's move this name bar over so you can see the full names of all of these longer ones. And you're going to select Farmhouse 1, and you're going to select everything from Farmhouse 1 to Stonefloor1_in. So after you select Farmhouse 1 at the very top of the Farmhouse textures, scroll down until you see Stonefloor1_in.dds, and then shift click to select all of those files. You should have 21 files selected from farmhouse1.dds to stonefloor1_in.dds, which comes right before stonewall1.dds, which you're going to leave alone. Don't touch that file. Now right click and select hide. Now scroll past the next 4 Stonewall files. That would be Stonewall1 and Stonewall1in, and Stonewall2 and Stonewall2in, until you see Thatch02. Select Thatch02 and scroll down to the very bottom, which should be the last file. It should be titled wovenfence01_in.dds. Shift click to select all of those files, right click and select hide. Now go into Clutter, Bones, and select both Bloody Bones and bloodybones_in.dds, right click and select hide. Now open up the Ruins folder and select all of these Ruins chest files. There should be 4: Ruins chest in, Ruins chest nails, and Ruins chest nails in. Right click and select hide. Now close up the Ruins and Bones folders, and now you're going to select everything in this Clutter subfolder from Birth Sign Apprentice 01 all the way down to Scroll Work Trim 2_in.dds and select. Just to confirm you've got the right files, this should be everything in the Clutter subfolder that is not in the Bones and Ruins subfolders. And you're going to select all of them. Again, from Birth Sign Apprentice 01 all the way to Scroll Work Trim 02_in. Right click, select hide. Now close up the Clutter folder and open up the Dungeons folder. Open up the Imperial subfolder within the Dungeons folder and select everything from IMP Dirt to IMP Ext Rubble 01 ice.dds. The file directly below the file where you've stopped should be IMP Ext Wall 01.dds. So you're going to leave that one alone and stop just above that. So from IMP Dirt 01 to IMP Ext Rubble 01 ice.dds. Right click, select hide. Now we're only going to skip 3 files. So these 3 IMP Ext walls, and we're going to select IMP Wall 05 all the way down to IMP Wood Doors Single 01_in. Select them all, right click, hide. Now you can close the Imperial subfolder and open the Nordic subfolder. And you're going to select everything in this subfolder from Ruins Door 01 to Ruins Wood Door 01_in. Right click and select Hide. Now you can close the Nordic subfolder. Now in the Dungeon subfolder, you're going to select everything from Detail Overgrowth 01 all the way down to just above the Landscape folder, that is Scrollwork Trim 01_in. Select all of those, right click, select Hide. Now you can close up the Dungeons folder. Now go into Landscape and drop down the Dirt Cliffs subfolder and select all 5 of these files, right click, select Hide. Close the Dirt Cliffs subfolder. Now in the Landscape folder, select from Fieldgrass 01 all the way down to Pine Forest 03_in. So that is stopping just short of a file titled Rocks 01. Right click those and select Hide. Now skip the 2 Rocks files, Rocks 01 and Rocks 01_in, and select the next 4 Tundra files. That is Tundra 01 and 01_in, Tundra 02 and 02_in. Right click and select Hide. Now skip the next 4 files, and just after Tundra Rocks, you'll find a file called Volcanic Tundra Dirt 01. Select that and then scroll all the way down to the last remaining texture in this file and select it. And that should be Volcanic Tundra Rocks 01_in. Right click after you've selected all of those and select Hide. Now open up the LOD subfolder and select everything but the last 2 files titled Rocks 01 LOD and Rocks 01 LOD_in. Leave them alone, but select all the rest in the LOD subfolder. Right click, select Hide. Now open up the SMIM or Static Mesh Improvement Mod folder. Open up the Clutter subfolder. Open up the Ruins subfolder. Select all of the files within. There should be 6. From Ruins Chest to Ruins Chest small_in. Right click, select Hide. Now open up the SMIM folder's Dungeons subfolder, Nordic subfolder, Temple subfolder, subfolder, and select all 3 of the SMIM Nordic files within, and right click and select Hide. So from SMIM Nordic Bone Dirt to SMIM Nordic Skeleton, hide all of those. Now open up the Furniture folder, the Nordic subfolder, and select both of these files within, right click and select Hide. Now open the Terrain folder, the Tamriel subfolder, and Objects, and hide both files within. That's tamriel.objects and tamriel.objects_in. Hide both. Now you can close the Objects subfolder. Now you're going to select all of these files that are within the Tamriel folder from Tamriel 4.0.0 all the way down to Tamriel 16.-32.-16.dds, all of them. Right click and select Hide. Now scroll back down, and just beneath those there should be a file called noise.dds. Right click and hide that as well. Now scroll down again, go into the Trap folder, select both pressure plate 2 and pressure plate 2_in.dds. Right click and select Hide. You've done it! Congratulations! I know that was extremely tedious. You won't have to do this very often, I promise you, but it's important that we do. Now close this. Mod Organizer might lag a bit after you've hidden so many files. That's normal. Just let it do its thing, it's not freezing up on you. Now install the Vivid Landscapes Correction for the Missing Snow on LOD Objects - sorry about it winky face file. We're going to double click that and we're going to title this 36. Now, if we hadn't installed this LOD fix, we would have had to go into the Vivid Landscapes folder that we were just in, and we would have had to actually completely delete a couple of files. But since the mod author has provided this hotfix, we no longer have to do that. So title this 36 Vivid Landscapes all in one. Actually, I'm going to go down. If you hit the little drop down here, there's already one that's titled Load Correction, and I want to remember what this file does exactly. So I'm going to select the drop down and select that name, and then put 36 at the beginning and select OK. Now check that file. Now we're going to install HD misc, which, as you may remember, was an Oldrim file we had to download as an archive, so it should be wherever you downloaded all those files to when we were going wild downloading mods, and some of them were Oldrim mods that had to be downloaded manually. Find it, select it, open the archive, and we'll title this 37 and hit OK. Now this is an Oldrim mod, but this one does not contain an ESP, so you don't need to run it through the creation kit. It's just a textures folder. Now we're going to install HQ Food and Ingredients, which was another Oldrim mod that we installed, or downloaded rather, as an archive. You're going to find that wherever you downloaded it, select the archive, and click Open. Now title this one 38 space HQ Food Ingredients and click OK. Now check the checkbox, and again, this is another one that's an Oldrim mod but has no ESP, so there's nothing to run through the creation kit. Now that being said, you should have a basic understanding that most Oldrim mods, even when they don't contain an ESP, still have to be run through a program called NIF Optimizer to optimize the meshes for use in Skyrim Special Edition. However, these two Oldrim mods only contain textures, and they have been confirmed working already by others, and so there's no need to do anything to them. Now we're going to install Ultimate HD Fire Effects, which was another one that we downloaded as a mod archive. So find that. You should have downloaded the Ultra version, or there's one other version, but basically you just need to avoid the medium version because it causes a lot of issues with a lot of users. So there was an Ultra and I think maybe a low or something else. You don't necessarily have to get the Ultra, just make sure you do not download the medium. So hopefully you don't have the medium version. At any rate, select the Ultimate HD Fire Effects folder, or archive rather, and select Open. Go in here and retitle this 39 space, hit OK. Now this is another one that does not have an ESP. There's nothing you need to run through the creation kit. However, we are going to hide some files in this one. It's not going to be nearly as extensive as the last one, so don't freak out just yet. You're basically just going to go into the meshes folder, and everything in clutter you're going to hide. So that makes it pretty simple. Those are the only two files in there. And everything in the effects folder we're going to hide, which in this case is only one file. FX Fire with Embers 01. The reason we're hiding these files is, in this case, because the Embers HD mod we're going to install is superior, and in the case of the Clutter Woodfire's Campfire Burning, it's because Static Mesh Improvement mod is better. So we want those to take precedence, take priority, so we're hiding those files so that they won't overwrite anything. Now we're going to go into Textures, Effects, and select Cloud Tile and Smoke Particles 01. Only those two files. Right-click, select Hide, and you're done. Now you can close 39 Ultimate HD Fire Effects. Now guess what you get to do now, guys? You get to go in to your game and load up your save game and test it. And here we are, and now you should see the beautiful new real roads and the vivid landscapes and all of the things that you've just installed, hopefully all working for you. Spend some time. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do it off screen though, but not in the video. So I want you guys to spend some time just traveling about and checking things out and making sure everything is to your liking. I will actually show you right now the Skyrim Real 3D Trees mod. That's these trees added here that you can see are more fully 3D than the Skyrim Flora Overhaul trees. They're not just little flat panes with textures painted on. Now I do still have the Skyrim Flora Overhaul plants you'll see here. And you can see if you look at them at the right angle, they're just a tiny thin, like paper thin mesh with a texture painted on top of them, and it's just a bunch of those. You can see these Skyrim real 3D trees are much more 3D, and I do tend to like the majority of this mod more than Skyrim Flora Overhaul, but I want you guys to check it out for yourselves. And if you don't like it, or if you prefer Skyrim Flora Overhaul, especially go into some of the more frigid regions and look at the Skyrim 3D snowy trees, which I feel are the sort of the weakest part of the Skyrim 3D trees mod, and make sure you actually prefer it. And if you don't, just go back into Mod Organizer and deselect that checkbox next to the Skyrim 3D trees file to give Skyrim Flora Overhaul precedence. At any rate, that's these trees here you can see. And once we get an E and B on them and everything, they're going to look even better, and it's going to be beautiful. At any rate, guys, go around. Oh, another thing you might want to check to see if you even like it is the Great Forest of Whiterun. The Great Forest of Whiterun Hold basically changes the entire tundra area of the Whiterun Hold into a forest, as you can see here. So you guys might not like that either. You might like the standard tundra version better, and if so, you can go into Mod Organizer and just deselect the Great Forest of Whiterun Hold. I believe that's exactly what it's titled. I could be slightly off, from your Mod Organizer program, if you guys like the standard tundra area better. But this would be just a good opportunity for you guys to just roam around for a while, explore, go to different locations, make sure everything's loading up properly, you don't have any crashes or weird glitches, and spend a little bit of time doing that before moving on to the next video. And I will see you guys then.